I'm Cyd Sturgess and I'm a PhD student at the University of Sheffield. I look at German and Dutch history and literature, and specifically I look at cultural constructions of female homosexuality in the interwar era. Over the past 6 months I've been working with photographer Andy Brown to create a series of images that I hope will make people question the labels and terms they use for gender and sexuality, which sounds maybe a bit ambitious, but I wanted people to think about labelling and to think about how reductive labelling is. The project began when I started to have issues with my historical research. I'm a PhD student and I look at the ways in which gender and sexuality were constructed in the cultural arena in the interwar era. And I was finding that women were not using the labels that we would use today to define their sexualities. And I wanted to show how labels are quite reductive and how people today don't often identify with the labels that we would use in day-to-day life. So I put out a call on social media for models who identified themselves as being androgynous or genderqueer, and asked them whether they'd like to be involved in a project that looks at labelling and the reductiveness of contemporary labels. So what I asked them to do was to stand and to pose in traditionally masculine ways or traditionally feminine ways, and to show that they don't fit in either category. And in the interviews that I did with the models after, you really see how they feel that they don't fit into these categories and that there's a spectrum of gender and sexuality.
I get called a boy more often than I get called a girl, which I've grown to just laugh at. A lot of my friends, they're lads and straight lads. They don't see me as a girl, but if you ask my best friend, he will say, V is not a girl. Say, is she a boy? No, she's not a boy. What is she? And he just says one of the man them, because he thinks he's gangster like that. I kind of put myself in between everything. In my own head, I can't really put myself in anything because I'm continuously changing and growing as a person, so I can't really stay in one thing and be confined to that little group. I'm kind of a bit of every group, just put into one.
If you had to pick any kind of category, I would say I identify as gay, as a gay man. A lot of the time it's just easier to say, yeah, I'm gay. But I am wary of that now because, you'll get a lot of, say, girls who just want to be a new gay best friend, and they want me to be their new gay best friend. It's like, oh, we can go shopping and do this and all this. That's what their image is of gay, feminine, just generally kind of one of the girls and all this kind of thing. As if you're kind of a bit more exposed to the LGBT community, that's not quite the case. Something that's got to be accepted is the existence of these stereotypes and boxes and, looks that you've got to fit into, whether it's like a feminine look or a masculine look. I accept that those exist and I like to play with them.
I'm aware that I live in a binary world and people often like things to be boxed off in comfortable ways. And it's when I get to know people that then I tell them that I don't relate to either gender. To which they're kind of like, what, so you're a bit of one and a bit of another? And it's like, no, I literally don't relate to either. I don't feel feminine nor masculine. And that's why I feel very much on the peripherals of the world, looking in on these alien creatures who hang out with each other. I think because people are so different, you could have infinite labels. Everybody feels different, and so that's why labels are really unhelpful. So you could say, right, well, I fall under the category of genderqueer, and then you'll find that there's a subculture within genderqueer. The same way that you call somebody gay, and then you find out that they're bears and twinks and the rubber guys, and then the same with the lesbians, there's the butch and the femmes, and it's kind of like there's categories within categories. Well, you're just going to run out of names in the end.
That was something strange I found actually coming into the, learning more about what it means to be a gay man. A lot of us talk about not wanting to be defined, but yet within the community a lot of gay men do define. It's got bears, cubs, daddies, jocks, twinks, all these kind of things. I was in Australia, apparently I got told I was an otter. I had no idea what an otter was at all.
Because I see myself as being genderqueer, I don't necessarily relate to the term lesbian. So if somebody shouted at me lesbian, I wouldn't necessarily be offended, because I'd be like, there's a gay woman around here somewhere. As far as I'm concerned, because I'm neither male nor female, I would have to be female, relate to being female, to be a lesbian.
People act differently when they're unsure whether I am female or male and haven't got the guts to actually just say, excuse me, are you male or female? Which wouldn't bother me at all, because at the end of the day I know I don't look like the stereotypical woman, and I don't look like the stereotypical man. So I do confuse people, and I pride myself in confusing people, really. It's like going into the toilets, I get it all the time. Go into the toilets and people look weirdly around the toilet to see if they're in the right toilets. Or even ask me, don't even say to me, you're not allowed in this toilet.
Sexuality is on the spectrum. At one end you've got absolutely 100% straight, heterosexual, you only go for the opposite sex, you're only ever attracted to the opposite sex. On the other end you've got homosexuality, and you're only exclusively ever and only ever have been attracted to your same sex. And then you've got everything in between. You could be, and I don't think anybody in the whole 7 billion people in the world occupy the same spot. I think you've just got to look at it like that. Everybody can be absolutely anywhere they want to be on the scale. And I don't think that's not a choice. That's just human nature and human beings. That's where we are. Everybody's a bit queer, because if you take it right back, like people say, queer, it's different, it's strange, yeah, we're all a bit different, we're all a bit strange from each other. I think genderqueer is probably something that unites everybody rather than creates a new category.
Everyone should be themselves. Everyone should be their own unique selves instead of conforming to everything else.
When it comes to talking about education and stuff like that, it's like, people just need to chill out, really. Instead of putting on more rules on top of rules, maybe just take a few off.